So, good afternoon, everyone, and I hope I'm audible. So, we'll begin with the session on how to use the search engine in SHS. So, let's begin with today's session about how to use the search in SHS. The few queries that I have, if I just summarize, is how to use three-word function, or you can say five-word function, and how to use different connectors, and even before that, even before this, I would say how to use the search to locate a rubric or symptom from repertory or reference book. Okay, so let's go to the program. So once you open the software, it opens up with your default repertory, and you have the search at the top, okay, and you have the repertories over here in the bottom. So I would suggest that you can manually locate the rubric whenever you can, whenever you know that the rubric is existing. But whenever you are not sure where the rubric is and you need to find out from the repertory, so what you can do is you can then use the search engine. For example, there was a case which told me that there was cough, and during cough there was lot of rubbing of the eye. So just I type rub eye, okay, and if we try to press enter after the search words are typed, or else as soon as the words are typed, I click on the search option, magnifying glass, you can see on the right hand side, okay. So you just pick up the keywords of the case, okay. I just used rub eye, and it is told to search in the repertory and the reference library. And when I click rub eye, it searches from the repertories and the reference library. So wherever rub and I are mentioned close to each other, you will see that reference, you will see the rubrics where the words are present in the same rubric for those particular search words that you put. Now the case was of rubbing the eyes during cough. So we try to see different repertories from where the symptom has opened up. Now, one of our user, Dr. Imran, he is there, and he told that he was only able to search it in the reliable repertory, not other repertories. So maybe there must be some filter which is uh, kind of limiting the search, or else if there is no filter which is there, then maybe your default repertory is reliable repertory which is showing you the repertories, and if you scroll, you will see the other repertories as you can see over here. So if I see the chat, I'm opening my chat box side by side in another device, and I'm seeing that there is a mention by someone that you're not getting the complete repertoire. Okay, so if you're not getting complete repertoire, you have to check whether it is there in your package or not. And if you are having the complete repertoire in 19 of Isha, you are telling, then I'm getting the same result you can see on the screen. which says vertigo, rubbing eyes, ameliorate alumina. In the head chapter, I have rubric from the. So you have to press the space in between rub and eye. So I'll just type RUB rub space I, and then I press enter. So once I do that, I get the search results from different repertories at the same time, complete repertory as well. And you can see from the different repertories that I have in my library, whether it is Boger Synoptic Key or any other repertory. So once I click on any other chapter of any other repertory, it opens up in those chapters. It opens up those repertories itself, right? So this makes your job easier to locate whatever symptom is there of the patient in different repertories. So this is one way to locate the rubric or words of the patient in the different repertories. And if you toggle, you see that here it is opening repertories, but here when you click on reference library, it shows you the search results from the reference library. And once you scroll, you will see everywhere there is eye and rubbing mentioned close to each other. It will be shown to you directly. Now, I want to tell you that the symptom actually of the patient is that she rubs the eyes during cough. So, what you can do is after you have typed rub eye, you can put one more space and you can put cough. Okay. So, I get from reliable repertory the rubric where rubbing, cough, and eyes, the three words that I used in my search engine, are displayed. So in this way, you can, kind of use the keywords of the case. So let me take you back to the PowerPoint and just share with you. So I suggest that you use the keywords of the case. Okay, whether it is any particular symptom, any particular PQRS symptom, physical general, etc. Okay, so try to use the or from the history. It can be anywhere. Okay, it can be in the PQRS symptom, it can be in the physical journal, it can be in the concomitant, it can be in the history shared from the constitutional or any concomitant or anything, right? So it can be any symptom, and just use the keywords of the case. That is very important. You have to understand that. What we see in the search I have performed is that I've just used three words of the case which are very peculiar, which is patient rubs the eye during cough, and I get rubric from the face chapter, I get rubric from the cough chapter, and I get rubric from reliable repertory, I get rubric from Patak repertory. So In this way, just remember that whenever patient comes to you, you have to just use the keywords of the case. And now I want to show you that what you see in reference library is just one remedy, which is Quila, having four references. Okay. So what is interesting is that you see that everywhere the result that is displayed, it shows you rub and eye close to each other, cough and eye close to each other. And this is because you have used the words without any connector. Okay. If you use any connector in between, it will show you the words with any connectors, with some smaller words in between. Okay. So, for example, let me now show you the concept of what is the three words and five words and etc. etc. Okay. So, if there is a source book which says here dog, then there is another source book which says here animals, comma cat, comma dogs. And then there is another source book which will say fear animal, dark, ghost, cat, dog. Maybe the remedy is same. Okay, it can be belladonna, for example. Just to give you an example. Okay. So what I want to tell you is that in book one, the symptoms are separately mentioned. Okay. Fear dark, fear dog, fear ghost, fear animal, fear cat. In book two, three things are mentioned together, and then there will be some symptom, and then there will be mention of fear of dark and fear of ghost also. Okay. And there will be another book which has brought all the three together. Like for example, this will be Boger Synoptic Key. And if it is very elaborate lecture, it is Kent lecture. Okay. So my only point in sharing this example is that it is not always that bogus synoptic key will only have this concise form of mentioning the symptoms, but it will also be some books where sentences are mentioned. Okay, so I'll give you the next example which you will get and you will be able to understand this. But the idea is that the word fear and dog. So you can see now that here, if you will perform the search, fear dog, you will get the answer from this book. Okay. But if you need answer from this book, you will need to perform fear to dog within two words dog. Okay. And if you need answer from this book, which is Bogus Synoptic, or some book which has many words in between the two words that you are using. So you will use the connector fear 1, 2, 3, 4. Four dogs. Is everyone understanding this example? So that the concept of search or using the connectors becomes easy. And when you take the same thing in your SHS program, this is going to help you understand the areas where you can, replicate this. And it's important. So I'll repeat this. Dr. Pallavi, you have asked it. So suppose there is one book which is Kent Lectures or Boric, which says that there is fear of dog, the patient is very much restless, anxious, there is fear of dark, there is fear of ghosts, there is fear of animal. So here fear and dog are very close to each other. Then there will be some other book, for example, Ilianthan Therapeutics, Therapeutics, or it can be Allen's Encyclopedia, anything, okay, where suppose, or some latest author who has Patak, who has made it concise, like fear of animals, comma, dogs. Okay, you can see there is a comma, and cat and comma dog. Okay, so the relation between fear and dog is two words. Which are the two words? Animals and cat. So we need to omit or ignore these two words to reach to the search, which is fear dog. And in book 3, for example, in books which are more concise, Vogel Synoptic Key is more concise, the search will have 4 words in between: animal, dog, ghost, cat. So to escape these words in our search and reach to the right word mentioned in the source book, we will need to use the 4-word connector. Now let's go to the software, and everyone can perform one very interesting search, and this is going to help you understand. So one of my patients had this very interesting pain, and I have shared this earlier also, but let us do it again so that you can understand it more clearly. The patient had pain in the molar tooth, shooting type of pain, aggravated on touch. So what happens is that it was on the right side. Okay. So I just use the keywords of the case. Let's go to, so today is not about patient management, so I'm not sharing anything about this, but this is how you can open it. And patient came with complaint of right molar tooth ache, shooting type of pain, aggravated on touch. So I also used many different combinations, and then I reached to the right combination which I should use for making a search. I will share about that later. But for the moment, for you all to understand how easy it will be, you have to just pick up the location, which is molar. Second thing you have to pick up is the sensation, which is the shooting. And third thing you have to pick up is the modality. So just if you type molar, number 3 shooting, and number 3 touch. If everyone is able to type the same thing which I have typed on the screen, you will be able to reach the right reference in the source book. So press enter, or else use the magnifying glass on the right hand side over here. Click on that. It's a small search option. It pop-ups a small alphabetical understanding of what the icon does. And when you click, either you get 0 results from the repository and you are directed directly to the reference library. If you have extra repositories like me, we keep on doing testing. So I'm getting tarantula. But in the reference library, everyone will be getting this search, which is Hanneman's chronic disease, and it mentions a small line which says that tearing and boring in a hollow molar with shooting pain on touching the cheek, relieved by open air and cold, aggravated by warm substances. So your search remedy is displayed on the left hand side, your section is displayed in the center, and the books are displayed, or the book where it is mentioned is displayed over here with abbreviation. And you can just, kind of hover your cursor over it and find out what is written in the remedy in the bottom, what is where it is mentioned, which chapter, which book, and you just do a small click on the search result. It will pop up a small window which shows you how the words are placed, what the symptom is, what the sentence is, and if you do a double click, it will open up in the exact location where it is mentioned. So if you get some error, try to make a search correctly. Molar shooting, molar 3, use the number 3 from the keyboard, then shooting, then number 3, then touch. Don't put space in between at all. So I think NG is the name of the prover, I think so. If you read Henneman's chronic disease, you will understand who is NG. Uh, you can see in the top, he has given some observers names. Okay, so this is NG. So you have this particular search coming from Henneman's chronic disease, which is not yet included in the repertory, but it comes and shows you that this particular type of pain is present and it is there on certain location, which is there in our patient. Yeah, so now what I want to tell you further, and there are many people who are chatting in the chat box, so I want to tell you that based upon the queries, that if you put other numbers, we are not getting any result. So that is what is the idea of the search engine, which is that you should use uniform numbers, and you'll need to make permutation and combinations to understand. For example, it is not essential that always you will get result in 3 words. You need to use 2 words. You may need to use number 2, number 4, depending upon what result is there. What result you get, and whether you are exactly having the patient symptom in front of you in the book which is opened up. So my only idea of sharing this symptom was that you should just kind of go back to patient version. Yes. Use the keywords and preferably use location, sensation, modality, and concomitant within 3 words. So in this way, you can search any patient symptoms. Now there are few queries in the chat box which says if we mention fear of cat, you can mention anything. If your patient is having that symptom, you mention that. If you want to know fear of reptile, version of animal, so you can just type fear reptile. First you type using no words, no numbers in between. Okay, so you'll get it from different repertories wherever the symptom is present. Okay, reliable repertory is giving you more number of remedies also. You can see here, and Murphy is giving you some like one remedy, and the reference library is showing only one remedy. Now, if you want to increase this search, just put number 2 in between, peer to reptile, and the repertory will not show much changes in result unless some bigger connector is used. But in the reference library, you can see that you are getting 41 remedies if you have the suggesta repertory. If you have uh, Digby's lectures, which is there in most of the books, okay, most of the editions. If you have Homeopathy 1936, your results will vary. It will not be 41 remedies for everyone. It will be maybe 10 remedies for someone, 20 remedies for someone, depending upon the version you have. But you get the search result which gives you more number of remedies than what you see in the repertory rubric. And this is what I want to tell you, that the repertory is always deficient, but the reference library will always give you bigger number of results if you know how to use it and when to use it. So whenever there is any TQRA symptom, whenever there is any physical journal which is very important, try to use the search engine and use the keywords of the case, and that will give you more elaborate answers. So let's go further. So Fear Reptile doesn't show any rubrics in complete repertory which we generally use in our practice. There is no remedies in reference library. So if it does not show you any remedy in complete repertory, you can take Fear Animals off if you feel it is essential. And if not, then you should write to Rogers and Wood. He has a group on Facebook, and maybe he can include it sometime later. If it is there in complete repertory, one of the latest complete repertories, I don't know if it is there in previous complete repertory, but maybe he has his own way of adding the remedies to the rubric. So you will find it in the correct repertory. So yes, Dr. Hetvi Soni, you are right in mentioning that 2 means that 2 words are there, and 3 means 3 words are there. If there are 3 words between the search words that you have typed, it will show you the results accordingly. Okay, so now there are few various queries like, can we limit to particular kingdom, like row 4? Uh, can we limit a symptom search to a particular family? Yes. So now this is the next level. So I just want that everyone has understood the first level of our communication, and I'm not giving you many examples. I can go on like this, sharing 100 search words and search symptoms from my practice, but it does not make sense when I just want to tell you that the idea of using the search engine is that you should firstly use the keywords of the case which we have shared. And see, this is my experience, personal experience, that if I have used location, okay, I'll just type in abbreviation, location, sensation, modality, concomitant within 3 words. Okay, it can be location, sensation, or modality. It can be sensation, modality, concomitant, or it can be location, modality, and concomitant. It can be any combination. Okay, and if we use it within 3 words, then the results are more accurate. This is what I have seen so far. But it can be variable with your own understanding of the patient and the words you pick up. So it is your art and your artistic ability to pick up those words and try to find out from our source books uh, which word will be located where, and then you can proceed. So this is the general idea of using the search in SHS. Okay. Now the next idea is using the search as a limiting option. Now suppose what everyone has shared. Let's go back to the software and see that everyone wants to limit it to some particular family or remedy or something like that. Okay. So first let us limit to a bigger group and let's actually do something which everyone will get. Like for example, fear of dog. Okay, this is very simple. So if I type fear 2 dog or fear 3 dog, whatever, and I press enter, I get lot of rubrics from the repertory, from the different repertories in fact, and 123 remedies in the reference library. Your results will vary depending upon your version. But even before this search comes, the search result, I want to limit it to some group of remedies which I want to focus on. So I can apply a filter on the search result. On the top, you can see just next to the search option, you can see my cursor. I am hovering my cursor on the right hand side. Just next to it, you can see the history. All the history that you have searched for, you will see it mentioned over here like 10 or 15 searches. And then just next to it, you can see that there is a option to limit to certain repertory, author, kingdom, remedy, section, grade. But this will limit to repertory. If you go to reference library and if it quits like this, you can just reload it. It will probably give you that it wants to take back the rubrics that you have already chosen in the previous session. And yes, that is what, if you want to restore them, you can click on yes. And with your your data also comes back. So I was at this point where you can see that there is a certain section in the repertory which you want to limit to. You can use that. If you want to limit it to reference library, books, kingdoms, remedy, section or category, you can use that. So for example, someone wants to, just look for diabetes and kitna diabetes ka patients क्लिनिकल या केस में हुआ है या जर्नल्स में हुआ है what whichever you want. So you can just click on this. Now it will also depend on what the author has chosen while formatting the book and what the developers have chosen and what the management has chosen that this book category will be based upon what the author shared. And if we click on clinical and search for diabetes, the repertory actually search doesn't matter because I forgot to deselect it over here because our search was focused on reference library. It shows me 157 remedies from different clinical books, including you can see Dr. Sarkar, Just You See, Ellen tubercular affections, Morgan's diabetes mellitus, Bornovillis diabetes, Bodler's psychicosis, whichever are the clinical books considered as clinical, you will get those books. Allen's handbook, clinical symptom is mentioned, you can see that this is mentioned. So in this way, you can choose and change whatever you wish to see and whatever you do not wish to see. And you can clear the filter, you can go back over here and you can choose the book. Suppose you want to study which remedies in boric materia medica have diabetes. And I will just click on diabetes. I'll just click on boric materia medica in the reference library. I will deselect the repertory and I will just make a search like this and see that whichever remedies in boric, almost 50 remedies in boric have diabetes. So in this way, you can go back and forth and if you want to limit it to any particular kingdom, you will be able to limit to kingdom either in the repertory or in the reference library. But if you want to search for diabetes remedies from the kingdom 4, okay, so I this is my personal opinion that you just make a search, and whichever are the rubrics that you wish to take, for example, you take it from either from clinical if you get a lot of remedies, or here you get 100 remedies, you choose a clipboard and put it in the clipboard. From the reference library, if you want all the 1,000 remedies, put all the 1,000 remedies. From the plus icon over here, it goes in the clipboard. Yeah. And then you can see that this comes from complete repertory and this comes from the reference library search diabetes. So let's little zoom out and find this number of remedies in the complete repertory and diabetes. And now you can choose mineral, plant or animal, or if you want just the fourth kingdom, you can just go here and choose the fourth kingdom from this particular option over here, or you can just choose minerals and find out your series of stage 4 or whichever, like choose your desired level of carbon series. So now you can see it is limited to the carbon remedies or the carbon series remedies. And then you can play with this part over here and kind of go back and forth with whatever is your choice of limit which you wish to create. Suppose it is just some other remedy like just the nitrogen you want. You can just click on this and you can find out nitrate. Okay, so this is just a glimpse of how you can use the search engine for the clinical condition, but you can also use it for uh, some unique search. Like suppose you want to study all the rubrics of diabetes of a particular remedy, for example, phosphorus. Okay, so I just type diabetes and PHOS, and you can see the auto suggestions which come are mentioned phosphorus as a family, phosphorus as a remedy. So you choose the second option which is phosphorus as a remedy, and you can see that the color of your search word changes diabetes phosphorus. And then you can make a search for all the rubrics of diabetes of the remedy phosphorus from the repertory and the reference library and make a search and get the rubrics. So I'll perform this again. I just saw a few messages in the chat box. You can just kind of click on diabetes and type PHOS and you pick up from the auto suggestions phosphorus as a remedy, and then you see all the rubrics of diabetes of phosphorus from the different repertories that are there in your program, and from the reference library you get all the references of phosphorus from the different source books which have mentioned diabetes as a clinical condition. So, how to perform this search again, or is it the previous one? I think so. If you want to just see that diabetes in a particular, if you have just performed the search and you see the different references from the different sections, you add them from the search to the clipboard, and then from the reference library, whichever are the number of families you want to add to the clipboard, you add it, and then click on the clipboard, and then you can use the limit to limit it to whichever section. And then what I showed was you can just press a space next to diabetes and phosphorus, and then wait for a few seconds, like 2 or 3 seconds, for phosphorus to display whether you want to pick up phosphorus like family or some phosphorus group or remedy. So these are the auto suggestions. Pick up phosphorus as a remedy and then perform a search. It will search from the repertory and the reference library all the rubrics of phosphorus and all the symptoms or clinical indications of phosphorus, mentioning the clinical condition diabetes and the remedy phosphorus. So I hope this is very much clear. And in this way, you can make a search for any symptom. Suppose you want to search for symptoms of carbon family. So you just type fear and carbon and search for, okay, fear of spiders. So can we do this for the whole spider group? You can do anything. You can play with the program the whole day. When you don't have patients and when you have patients, you can use the programs to hone your artistic abilities with the technology. Okay. So just you can put fear and spider and then you wait for a few minutes, and you see if you want to pick up the spider as a word, spider group as a remedy, or spider family, and I put spider family and I put fear spiders, and the whole search displays you all the fears of all the spiders in all the repertories, all the reference libraries, and if it is, you know, spider like or spider like So we have to be sure about that. Maybe it didn't pick up from the spiders family. So we'll find out the reason why it didn't pick up. But maybe you can just pick spiders group. So I hope it will show me right now. And so we can also, if this doesn't work, we can use the limit over here and try to limit it to spiders. Okay. So kingdom, and we go to animals, and we are at Nida. Yeah. So I think it will come by arachnida rather than spiders. So it shows me 2,400 references for 27 remedies. Okay. So in this way, I think there was a need for arachnida. Rather than using the word which is spider, maybe then it will show me all the rubrics as well. Yeah. So this is what we get. The same thing that we did from that side. So you just put peer space and arachnida and pick up from the auto suggestions to repeat it for you all. This way and make a search. Okay. So you can use peer carbon to search for all the carbons and then you get the result from the reference library as well. So this is what the search can do for you. And if there is any keywords of the case, if there is any uh, remedy name which you wish to search, suspiciousness or pulsatilla. So just put suspiciousness space and PULS and then you will get the auto suggestions and you can pick it up from there. And this is what we have that we can use the keywords of the case and family and remedy. And then the last but not the least is that using search option with repertory rubric. Okay. So when can this happen? When you have taken say 8 to 10 rubrics of the case, but there is one particular symptom which is not fitting the bill. In that case, you should go for searching that particular symptom in search. Now I have a case, if I can just open it for you or else I'll show you on the program itself. So suppose you have taken fear, dog, you have taken anxiety, health, then you have taken some physical journal which is food and drinks. uh, So I have used this particular totality and I see that sweet's desire is not there in belladonna, natramine, caustic component, phosphorus, leccan, etc. Now, what I can do is I can put all the words from the rubrics, keywords from the rubrics to make a search in the search engine, or I can just use the keywords of the case. Now, suppose there is no rubric for some particular anxiety that he is having at particular time or particular with particular symptom like anxiety, perspiration. Okay, and if I just try to see if I can get some. So in the rubric we have anxiety, perspiration as a fluid break, and if we go and see the rubric from the perspiration chapter, anxiety with, it's not there. It's over here. Okay, it was over here. And it has some areas of perspiration. So here we get some remedies which are not covering switch desire and perspiration anxiety, etc. etc. Now, if we want to search, we can search for anxiety, perspiration during or with. Okay, and press the search bar for the result. We will get from the repertories, no doubt, but we'll also get from the reference library some extra remedies or some new remedies which are not there. And there are 171 remedies. So you just put the search to the search to the clipboard and it is added over here in your default clipboard. And now you can see there are some remedies. If you will be able to, argentum nitricum is one of the remedies which is not there in anxiety perspiration with, but is there in anxiety perspiration during or with from the reference library. And similarly, you have for oleum animale, then you have for agaricus, then you have for chelidonium. So in this way, you will get some unique, you know, search results, and from the addition of the search results in the clipboard, and then you will be able to make uh, some understanding about what to prescribe. And if you want to add a particular rubric or symptom to this, you can use the connector in the same remedy or in the same sentence. Okay, that is a bit of advance. I think we are going beyond time. So maybe I will share it in the next session. But if there is any other symptom which we want to add and of the patient, then you just go over here and you can see add proximity on the right hand side in the same remedy. The shortcut to use this is 4 times press the space bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times press the space bar. It will give you same remedy connector, and then you can type diabetes or whichever symptom you wish to type. Like if you wish to type switch desire, if you wish to type anxiety health about or any other symptom, just type it and let the search happen. It will mostly show you from the reference library because the same remedy connector will work for the reference library preferably. And yeah, you get around 140 remedies. Now you can just click on add results to clipboard, and this is the seventh rubric which is added to the search clipboard, and you have the usual set of remedies which are definitely helping you understand, but there will be some new remedies which have come up, like you can see Argentum nitricum still tops or comes somewhere close. So in this way, something unique or new can come through, and you will need to uh, understand it from your patient, which what is clinically relevant and important, and choose that for the search and use it with the two rubrics that are there. So we come to an end of this session, and maybe in the next session we will be able to share something more about the search, and you can drop in your queries to the mail ID. I am mentioning my mail ID in the chat box, and you can share it. If we get a chance, we will get back to the mail queries. And you can stay in touch with us on social media, Synergy Homeopathic India, on Instagram and Facebook for staying tuned with whatever queries were not answered or were not, you know, easy to answer over here. Maybe we'll put up a video to explain you those, you know, symptoms in the videos which we'll put on social media, short videos like 90-second or something like that. And we'll definitely share the recording with you. Maybe in a few days, we'll put it up on YouTube channel. So Dr. Nida Kazi, you want to take a session where you can see all the features together. I think our USA counterpart, Dr. Mrs. Lucy undertakes it. I will send you the link. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel also, Synergy Homeopathic, and you will get to know what and when the sessions are updated, and how to compare two remedies in the repertory sheet. Now, this is a bit of advanced. Maybe I'll share it the next time tomorrow, but we'll put up some short video about it. So thank you all for joining, and stay updated with the session.